I'm just going to put it out there and say that this lens is the best one you can get for APS-C cameras. Welcome to the channel. My name is Robert, and I run a full-service production business with my wife, who is a producer. We've been servicing clients' commercial photography and video production needs full-time since 2013. With over 2 decades of experience in the commercial advertising and marketing world, I've learned how to tailor visual storytelling to fit each client's unique needs. We're originally from Southern California, but are now currently based in Charleston, South Carolina. Since it's just the two of us, we're able to be streamlined, agile, and we're able to adapt quickly to changing needs. Whether that means rethinking a setup on the fly, adjusting for natural light, or refining the creative direction in real time. That agility allows us to make every minute on set count. Because our overhead is low, we can allocate more of a client's budget to where it matters most, into the creative, the visuals, and the storytelling. Working with a smaller production team offers unique advantages that larger crews often can't match. A smaller team doesn't mean smaller results. Today we're taking a look at a recent project that we produced for a new client. We'll also talk about the lens that I think is the best one you can get for APS-C cameras. The Sigma 18-50 2.8 was first released in October of 2021 in both E and L mounts. I first picked this lens up in the summer of 2024, specifically for a food shoot that we produced and shot in the studio. I needed something small and light for my FX30 that I could easily rig up for a top-down shot. Since shooting that job, the 18-50 has been a constant companion. It's been invaluable for all of my local work, but it really shines on travel jobs due to its small size and weight. And while it's not perfect, I'm just going to put it out there and say that this lens is the best one you can get for APS-C cameras. At the time of purchase, this lens was $549. And even though the price of the lens has increased since, I think the images it produces are beautiful and are easily on par with lenses that cost several times its current price tag. I was a Canon shooter for many years and was a bit of an L-series snob when it came to all of my EF mount lenses. However, since switching over to the Sony system years ago, I was more interested in third-party options, and that's where the Sigma lenses really stood out for me. I've always been a fan of Sigma lenses and have shot tons of projects on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K paired with the Sigma 18-35. And I've always felt that the price-to-performance factor that Sigma offers is hard to beat. So when we booked a big studio shoot that called for a top-down angle, I got on the hunt for something small and light that I could easily and safely rig overhead. It wasn't long until I came across the Sigma 18-50, and after seeing the reviews, I knew it would be perfect for my use case. Like many of our productions these days, we recently shot a project for a new client that required both stills and video. Shooting both still and video assets back to back is challenging. For all of my still photography work, I shoot on Fujifilm, and all of our video projects are shot on an FX6 or an FX30. Since this job required a fast-paced run-and-gun style shoot, I once again relied on the FX30 and the Sigma 18-50 due to their size and ease of portability. This shoot had us working our way through downtown Charleston, and not only called for backgrounds and textures reminiscent of the city, but also for beauty shots of our models. Here's some images I shot around this time of year last year.
Hey, New beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword. Swinging blades at these scrubs. Flock like bugs to the light. Getting right. Treat my hoes like these raps. I don't really gotta.
And here are some images from our shoot downtown for Circle K.
Pass the rock, it's all butter. Pack your bags and take flight. Don't worry, it's all covered. Hey, live your life while you can. Our days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after, clearing up the disaster. Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me.
I was hoping for overcast skies to give us similar tones to those images. But our shoot day saw clear blue skies and bright sun. So I had to work with what we were given and tried to backlight our subjects whenever possible. We shot early in the morning, which gave us the option to shoot in both bright sun and also be able to find some shade down some of the side streets of the city. So enjoy some of the behind the scenes from this shoot as we wandered the city to find interesting backgrounds and frames. If you're familiar at all with the Sony system, you know how good their autofocus is. And coming from someone who has manually focused for most of his career, it's a bit crazy to see how pretty much every camera manufacturer has good autofocus these days. I still use the EF mount version of the Sigma 18-35 on my FX30 all of the time, and find the autofocus with it to be sticky and reliable. I can't recall a time where it's hunted or ruined a shot for me, and the same holds true for the 18-50. On this shoot, it tracked my model flawlessly despite being backlit by the harsh sun. If you've seen some of my previous videos here on the channel, you know my disdain for rigging up small mirrorless cameras. So I just shot handheld, and since the lens doesn't have optical image stabilization, the standard IBIS setting within the FX30 did the trick and helped keep my shots smooth and jitter-free. At the end of the day, it's about delivering exceptional content that not only connects with your audience, but exceeds your client's expectations. I think these shots and this lens are just beautiful, but let me know down in the comments what your go-to lens is for APS-C cameras. As I said, I continue to use the Sigma 18-35 all the time with my FX30. Despite the fact that that lens was released way back in 2013, it still proves to be extremely useful for me. And while it's no fault of the lens itself, one of its shortcomings, at least for me, is the focal range. I often find myself at the long end of the lens and almost always wanting just a little more reach or compression. I suppose that's why Sigma recently released the 17-40 f1.8. Although that lens is kind of an enticing upgrade, it's not worth it for me, at least right now, because I have the 18-50. And sure, there are times that I wish the aperture were wider than 2.8, but that's far from being a deal breaker, as it's still an extremely portable and versatile lens to have in your kit. It's been funny how, as an FX6 owner, my FX30 is often my A camera. One of the few gripes I have with the FX30 is not having the ability to shoot open gate. The majority of our client deliverables often require a vertical version, but this job specifically asked for vertical capture. So it would have been great to be able to shoot open gate and still retain the ability to reframe and post for vertical. Whether you're on a budget or not, and are in the market for one lens that can do it all, the 18-50 is tough to beat, especially for the price. If you're into lighting and how to get that Netflix-style documentary look, check out this video here where I walk you through exactly how I got this look, despite having to work in a dark and challenging space. Until next time, thanks for watching.